Rock?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. On today's episode of the CLS Experience, we have a very special treat. She's a Hollywood legend with hit movies such as the pop culture phenomenon Clueless, as well as the hit Netflix series The Babysitters Club. She made her film debut in one of my personal favorite movie thrillers, The Crush. She's a dedicated activist, animal lover, and environmentalist. She's a New York Times bestselling author, health advocate, and co-creator of the unbelievable MyKind Organics. She's a badass entrepreneur who energizes and empowers others about sustainable living. She's just an overall juggernaut in all facets of life and a phenomenal human being. Please welcome the iconic Alicia Silverstone. How you doing, Alicia?
Good, thank you.
Did I do good by you with the intro?
Nice, thank you.
Okay, good. And like I was saying before we went on air, know you've done a bunch of these. Yeah, my word, we'll keep it fresh. We'll have a lot of fun, and we will absolutely manufacture magic here today together.
Okay. Let's do it.
Before we dive deep, we're going to get a little weird. You ready for me?
Weird first?
Yes.
Okay.
Alicia, what is your superpower?
Do you have one?
Yes. I would say my superpower, and I love that you asked it, I love to be challenged, is to be able to elevate people to make them want to take positive action and better themselves.
That's nice.
Yes.
Perhaps my superpower is uncovering the truth and sharing it with people.
I love that. That is deep. We're just getting started. Describe yourself in 3 words.
In 3 words. Kind. No, it may be intense at times. Intense, but also playful.
Love that.
I don't know. Curious.
Fair enough. That's great. Love those.
What about you?
For 3 words? I love that you're asking them right back. I would say passionate, energetic, and fun.
Nice.
Hopefully you'll agree with that by the end of the conversation. Just
So
a couple more weird ones, and then we'll start with the journey. What's something interesting about you that a lot of people might not know?
If MMA fighting was on in the background, like somebody was watching it, because I won't turn it on myself, because I don't turn the TV on myself. But if someone was watching MMA, I would be interested. I would watch it.
Love that. Tell me more.
Well, my ex-husband used to watch boxing, and I would just sit near him and be working on my computer the whole time because I work a lot. So I would do my work, and I'd find myself looking up and getting interested. And then when it turned to MMA, I just got really, there were some really, it was interesting. I never wanted to root for one person. I wanted them both to win. It's kind of riveting. I don't know. It's hard. And they're choosing it. I think what makes it so different is these people are choosing this path and they want to do it. They're athletes. So
I love that.
And
I could definitely appreciate that.
But I don't think people would expect with my, I'm very nonviolent. I don't want anyone to be harmed. So it's a kind of funny little thing.
Absolutely. No, it's a great answer. Alicia, what makes you feel most alive?
What makes me feel most alive? I mean, I'm also very passionate. So I feel alive and excited and jazzed a lot. A lot of that is my truth seeking. So that gets me really revved up and interested in uncovering the lies we get told. And, but I also just looking at my being with my son, being his mother is so incredible. There's a million things. Being with someone you love can make you feel so alive. Going on a walk with the dogs, kissing my dogs, all those things, everything. I'm very excited by life. I want more of it.
I love that you do have a zest for life. And also I get the feeling that you're very present in the moment and grateful Like even something that's going on a walk, just taking it all in. That's
Yeah.
great.
Yes.
I love that. All right, last weird one, and then we'll start with the journey. When was the last time, Alicia, that you had an unbelievable belly laugh?
Belly laugh. That's a big one. I mean, I laugh a lot. Laugh. My friend Mary and I were in we went to the desert together recently, and just the way she talks makes me laugh so hard. And she's so smart. She's so amazing. She's a mother of two grown boys. They're in their 20s, and she's a therapist in Chicago. And she's just my friend. I've met her along the way, and she's so smart and so soulful and deep and wonderful. And she makes me laugh so hard.
That's
I don't know
great.
what we are laughing about, but she could say anything and makes me laugh pretty much.
Isn't that the best?
Yeah.
It's like a natural high when you have those laughs. I love it. And of course, we're going to get to all the cool stuff that you got going on now with the products and so forth. But the audience always likes to go for a little bit of a journey in case they may not be familiar with you unless they're living under a rock. You started acting pretty young and you grew up in San Francisco. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Yeah. San Francisco is a cool city. I ran the marathon there 2 years ago.
I grew up in the suburbs of San Francisco. It's just easier to say San Francisco, but near the San Francisco airport was this area, San Mateo, Burlingame, Hillsborough. That's where I grew up.
Understood. Did you know from an early age that you were going to gravitate towards acting and stuff like that?
Yes, very young. There were many things along the way that, from very early age, that was sort of just the direction I was going.
Yeah. And I read somewhere because number one, I'm a big fan of yours. And also obviously preparation breeds confidence, that your dad was taking some pictures of you and that led to you getting some commercials and stuff like that.
Preparation does breed confidence, doesn't it? It's so
Yeah.
just over preparing for certain things is so great. I spent so many years not being prepared, just winging it, and you feel so uncomfortable. So, my dad, when I was about 8 years old, my dad took some pictures of me modeling in order to get me an agent to work. The goal was for me to be acting, but it was sort of, that was our step to get there.
Yeah, I understand. And then that led to eventually you getting your first film role in The Crush.
I mean, that's a big, big leap.
Yeah.
So basically, as a little girl, if we want to start from the beginning, somebody saw me. You know, when kids do performances for their family.
Of course.
And I was a normal kid doing performances for my family. A neighbor named Pat Forrest, who lived up the street from us, I think I'm 3 at this point, maybe 4, says to my dad, she's going to be a star. And now, whether or not that was true, perhaps I was just normal and doing the same thing that anybody else was doing, or Pat Forrest was a genius. Well, we don't know the answer to that question, but my dad listened to her, and then he saw me in a play at school when I was like, I guess 12. It was in I think it was 7th grade in junior high. And he saw me in that play, and he thought that I was just doing a scene in drama class, and he said, she's really, really good. We should help her do something with this. So he went looking for agents for me, and that was in San Francisco, an agency called the Powell Agency. And I would try to get commercials, and it was useless. I think I even auditioned for, remember that movie with Never Ending Story. Woohoo! Never Ending Story.
Classic.
The Never Ending Story Part 2.
Okay.
Remember when that princess says, Sebastian, call me? That really stuck with me as a little person. And so I remember auditioning for the number 2 or something, but I would never get those things and never get the commercials, but I was modeling a lot. And which is funny because I was very short, but kids are allowed to be short as models.
Yes.
So it's okay. And then eventually my dad found an acting teacher person who was coming from Los Angeles. And that's the person that brought me to Los Angeles. Eventually, at first I was really just giggling in acting class the whole time. So uncomfortable, just a mess. And then and I would have go get a little narcoleptic too. I would just fall asleep in class. I think anything that was intense or stressful, you know, because they could do deep stuff in there. So I just would check out. And then eventually one day it all clicked. And I did this scene with Amit Idelman, who just contacted me after 25 years. We're going to talk on the phone next week. And he, in this scene, the lady, the manager lady said, you should come to Los Angeles. That was great. Come to LA for our summer program. I came to LA for the summer program. I didn't know what I was doing. I was just having fun. And then, because acting for me felt like therapy, it felt very healing. And it felt like a safe space to be, you know, kids in there didn't like their parents and were crying about things. It was really interesting and deep and exciting. And far more interesting than what was happening in my world in junior high. I can tell you that. So I think I felt like an alien at junior high and very different and outside of the box with most people there. So it was really, really great to meet these interesting, complicated people that were older than me. And I felt so inspired and turned on. So I moved to LA for the summer and I got an agent through that process, through the showcase. And then I started auditioning like crazy. And so in the auditioning, I think I was auditioning for a year or two, and then came the crush.
Understood.
That was
Your whole family moved to LA?
No, I moved first by myself. And then later on, my parents moved along with me.
Mm-hmm. And then you landed the crush.
Yeah, I landed the crush right after my parents moved to LA. Yeah, I went back for that, I think 4 or 5 times before I finally got that job.
What was that moment like for you?
I don't remember the moment where I found out I got it, but I do remember the moment where I found out I didn't get it. So it was like I had auditioned for it and I knew I was very connected to that material, strangely. I just felt really like I understood it. And I knew I was doing good work. And then when they said, well, we're going to offer it to this other girl who's already known, that was a little crushing. And then they said they were going to offer, then she said no. And then they offered to another girl who had auditioned too as their first choice. And then they said no. Then I got the job. So, but I remember that moment of it. I remember sitting outside on the steps. I had been said no to for years auditioning. That was normal. That's what auditioning is, being
Part of
said
the
no.
journey, part of the process.
But at this, for some reason, this one, the crush, I remember feeling really uncomfortable about it. I didn't like how it felt that I wasn't going to get to do that part. And I remember that deeply. And then I got it. And the rest is history.
Not a coincidence, and no pun intended, but you absolutely crushed that role. And I remember loving that movie back in the day, and it was so scary and creepy in the best way possible because it's such a testament to you playing the character. But I watched it somewhat recently, and I had to look it up. And I couldn't believe how young you were in real life when you filmed that, because you're so mature, like, to play that character at that time. How old are you then?
I was 15. I turned 16 on set.
Wow. That's crazy. How was the experience overall? Because your first film went up.
That was amazing. That was so exciting to have it be my first movie. And I felt so excited and so inspired, and I just played hard. I loved the work. I loved all the bad things I would think in my mind while I was doing scenes. It was just so fun.
Yeah. And it shows on camera. That movie, honestly, one of my personal favorites is The Thriller. From there, right away, did you have a ton of momentum? Because obviously that was an unbelievable performance and so forth. Or was a little bit of a gap before some of the other things started to come to fruition?
I think once the crush happened, everything started to really pile in, because up until the crush, I think I had done a Domino's pizza commercial. I had done a little pilot for a TV show called something Nick. I can't remember. And, and that was about it. I'd done an Yves Saint Laurent fashion show in San Francisco in my early days. That was about the extent of it. So there was a lot of getting really close. I got really close to a lot of films right before the crush. So there was some kind of momentum building in that way. And then the crush happened. And then I just booked a bunch of stuff. I booked True Crime, The Babysitter. Well, The Babysitter, they asked me to do that one. Alpha of the Crush, probably. I auditioned for Hideaway. I did a movie in France called Le Nouveau Monde that a French director asked me to do. Um, yeah, I started doing tons of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. And I just have to ask you, it's a little bit of a weird question, but I had a couple actors on recently, like Taryn Manning and some others, because that was your movie as far as I'm concerned. But obviously, you were a rookie in Hollywood at that time. So how does that work? Like when it comes down to like paydays and stuff, you kind of have to earn your stripes, even though you were the most dominant character in that movie.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how everybody else was paid on that, but I mean, considering how much we get paid for independent films now,
Yeah.
which sometimes you can get as much as $100 a day. I don't know, The Crush or Clueless, those were actually was paid well considering what sometimes you get on an independent, if that makes any sense. But
It
no,
does.
I have no idea what everybody else was making. I'm sure everybody was making way more. I was a baby.
Yeah, understood. And then two things obviously pop up to me personally. I know the audience as well after the crush. One was the Aerosmith video, and then obviously Clueless, which is as relevant today as it was all the way back then. Which one of those came first?
Oh, definitely the Aerosmith video. So Marty Callner saw me in The Crush and he wanted to have me be in his music video. So that's what happened. I didn't even know who Aerosmith was at the time.
Really?
I think I'd heard of them maybe a little, but I wasn't very familiar. But I sounded like a fun part, so I did it. And Bento, no, thank you.
One of the most epic music videos of that decade.
Crying.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, it was voted best video of all time a bunch of times.
And rightfully so.
And then yeah, so I did those, and then everything leads to the next thing, right? So then Amy Heckerling saw me in the Aerosmith video and for some reason wanted to meet me for Clueless. So then I met her and then I ended up doing that.
And then nothing was ever the same.
No.
That movie. I mean, look, I don't have to tell you, but like I'm sure like as a fan of as movies yourself, like when you turn on a certain movie that's absolutely timeless, like one of those movies that if you turn on the TV and it's on, you can watch it every single time. It's unbelievable.
That's great. I'm glad you feel that way about
I think the whole world does.
it.
How was that experience? Good? Did you guys have any idea when you were filming it that it would turn into the phenomenon that it did?
No, I didn't think that way. I was just doing another job and I loved acting. So I was doing my acting, but it was a hard time in my life at that period. I was really stressed and having little baby mini ulcers. This little lady was under a lot of pressure and it wasn't so much the act, it was all kinds of things that were going on. So I didn't have the best time making Clueless, but I loved acting the part so much. I loved it.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
And,
I came to Clueless having done 9 movies back to back. So I was so tired.
yeah.
That's a lot for a little person to be working those crazy hours and no break.
A lot for anybody.
Yeah.
And also, I saw you say somewhere that you never asked to be famous. Like that was never the agenda. Obviously, you were passionate about the acting and so forth. And at that time, I don't know if there was anybody more famous than you. That's obviously a lot of pressure, especially for someone who's young.
Yeah, I was really young and there was a lot going on and in my personal life too. So there wasn't a ton of foundation for what was coming at me. There wasn't a ton of solid support and foundation. So it was a lot of just survival and trying to figure it out. And then eventually going back and healing and figuring out how to grow all the roots and be strong.
Yeah. Cool. How were some of the guys or girls on set? You have any like relationships with them, like Paul Rudd or Brittany Murphy at the time?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they're all my castmates and they're all doing great. I mean, not everybody's doing great, obviously. We had to say goodbye to Brittany, but yeah, I know them all. We don't all talk all the time.
Yeah.
But we all know each other and have love for each other for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. And then from there, like sprinkling it in the background, when did the whole thing come about when you decided that, you want to live a healthier life and be a vegetarian and so forth? This was kind of going on at the same time behind the scenes?
Yeah, I really early on when I first came out in The Crush even, I think I had always dreamed when I was a little girl that there would be somewhere that, when I was little in school, I thought when I get grown up and I go to college, I hope there's a group of kids that can come. I'm going to start a club, like an animal club. This was my big idea, that there'd be other people who thought like I did or cared about animals the way I did. And to my very happy surprise, when I came out in the crush, I found out there was entire organizations dedicated to helping animals. So I started meeting organizations like PETA, and I thought, wow, this is more than I could have ever dreamed of. All of these people are aware and care, and they know way more than I do. And so I started my journey. I did a lot of safe things. I was I would help them with anti-dissection campaigns when I was really young, and anti-fur, and education around spaying and neutering your pets and things like that. But I hadn't made the change with food. I knew I didn't want to eat animals, but I hadn't made the full change. And I was just what I call flirting, knowing I want to do it, kind of not doing it, trying it on. And then eventually I was around 21 years old, and I went cold turkey, and I just said, I'm never going to eat another animal again. I can't do this. I had seen a documentary that rocked me to my core. It was so devastating, and it woke my innocence up and made me realize that there are forces out there that are doing terrible things, and they don't want us to know about it. And we have to uncover the truth. And you have to look at that in every area of your life, in medicine, in the, corporate greed. We have to keep our eyes awake and really do your own research, because just like with meat and dairy, how we're told this is good for you, and look how happy the cows are, and the chickens love to give you their milk. I mean, chickens love to give, the cows love to give you their milk, and the chickens love to give you their eggs, and it's all just so happy and wonderful, and it's good for you, right? Milk does a body good. All these things that they're allowed to say when it's just not true. And we have all the information and research to show how it's not true, and how it hurts people and hurts our planet and hurts creatures and hurts people who are starving all over the world. 9 million people die a year from hunger. And this is a normal thing every year, and we don't blink an eyelash. And that is because we're not feeding their food to them. We're feeding it to animals instead. It's just such an inefficient use of resources. There's enough food on the planet right now to feed everyone. No one should go hungry. So when I started to learn all of these things, I mean, I just couldn't turn my eyes away. And I ended up writing The Kind Diet and The Kind Mama. And those books were born out of, I spent a lot of time going around telling anybody who would listen to me, do you know what's happening? Like there's blood everywhere, torture, rape, murder, just like fire, try to scream, wake up, please care, please care. No one cared. So I found that was incredibly alienating for myself and for them. It wasn't an efficient way to execute this information sharing. So I had to really look at how I could be an example of it and inspire people to, if you want this incredible health, if you want to be a part of the solution and not the problem, if you love animals, if you care about the world and you don't want to contribute to the suffering of people and the earth, which is crying out and in turn harming us, right? So many people get so sick from pollution. Yep. And anyway, also, I just had incredible health benefits. So while I thought I was doing this for the animals, which I was, the animals did it for me, because I turned around and ditched my asthma inhaler, my allergy shots twice a week, no longer on any antibiotics. My eyes got really white. My nails got really strong and thick. Before that, they were very brittle and would fall apart. My hair got really great. My skin, my cystic acne.
Your hair was always great.
It was pretty good, but it lasted for so long. Really strong, like thick, good hair, right? Thanks, though. When I would be on set prior to being in my 40s and hormone changes and all that stuff that happens to women. But prior to all of that, I mean, people were shocked at how long and healthy my hair was. It's really done me well eating this way. So I had big changes. And I mean, my allergist called a year after I went vegan and said, why aren't you coming in for your allergy shots? And what's going on? And I said, I changed my diet. I feel great. I don't need it. And he said, I hear that a lot. And I said, yeah, why didn't you tell me? He said, I wouldn't do business, would I? Joking. But so, all that went away. It's pretty cool. So I think it really empowered me to understand that our health is our responsibility. So many people want to just believe that it's not us, that there's nothing we can do. Just give me pills, cut me open, tell me what you want me to do. Believe, like, they just don't want any responsibility in the situation. But the truth is, we are superheroes, and we can make our bodies. There are some things that will be out of our control, but for the most part, we can absolutely change how we experience age and growth. And I experience it every single day. It's a profound thing.
Your passion is seeping through the screen. I absolutely love this. It's very obvious that you're very passionate about it. And obviously, like you said, you did it for the animals and other stuff and the earth, but it gave you such benefits. So it was a win-win for you. And it's no secret as to why the book was such a big success and so forth, because you're so passionate about this.
I am. Thank you. I care so much because, well, there's the obvious desire to end suffering. I want to end the needless suffering of people, animals, planet, children who are starving to death, all of that. All of that is so easily solved. And it's maddening that something that is so easily solved, unfortunately, has this massive wall up where, corporate greed and people's laziness, the combination works so well together, right? So we want to stay in this state of numbness and not think, and just tell me what to do, I'll do it. Okay, I'm going to follow that commercial. Okay, that news says that. Oh, we're not critical thinkers. We're not awake. And some of us are. But unfortunately, the big, greedy corporate agriculture, pharmaceutical, all of it, tech, they all prey on that sort of laziness, and also not only laziness, but some of people are just trying to survive. Everyone's just trying to survive. Who has time for all this? So what I try to do is just bring as much of what I learn to help others, to say, look, I've done all this work. I've done all this work researching it for you. Check it out. See if it helps you, And the beauty is, when I wrote The Kind Diet, I would see people when I would do book signings, and they would come and say, I've been doing this now for 2 years. I'm off all my medication. My life changed drastically. Those are the stories that just, nothing's better than being able to help people take care of themselves, arm themselves with the tools that help them feel their best, look their best. And when we feel good, we're able to be kind. And then everyone around you, even with my son, he's been plant-based since he was born. And he's raised on brown rice, greens, kale, bok choy, cabbage, beans. So his body, he's so nourished. His organs are so happy. He's a happy, grounded, present kid. And I don't have to say, I don't have to yell at him. I would never. I just simply say, oh, Bear, no, thank you. And he goes, okay, mommy, sorry. And that's the biggest discussion we have over anything. So that's because I respect him and he respects me, and I feel good and he feels good. And if I eat naughty food and I don't feel so good the next day, I say, Bear, mommy's a little bit, I might be a little snappy. So watch out. I'm so sorry. I don't feel so hot. I didn't eat well. Tonight we're going to do this. I'm going to get us back in shape. I'm going to sleep well. And then I'm super hot mom the next day. But we communicate so he knows, because I don't ever want, and I'm not even raising my voice at him. I just mean, maybe I don't feel so yummy that day.
Right. We all have our days.
You all have your days.
Yeah. And a lot of the stuff that you said hits home to me, because it's not even just about specifically the stuff that you're talking about, but so many people are plugged in, so to speak, and like they're reactive to whatever society tells them they're supposed to be. And when you're able to transform from reactive to proactive, then we can really dwell in a proactive bubble of serenity. And most people are just like, they're going like this. And you're absolutely right. Yeah.
Yeah. You have to be very careful with who you trust in terms of information. And really, I understand how hard it is, because it takes a lot of effort to do the research and to look into things on your own. But oh boy, the spins that are out there. Someone will tell a beautiful story, and then the spin on, hey, no, thank you, Dixon, thank you. That's not my son. That's my dog now. But someone they'll spin it into their narrative, and you hear the real story, plain and raw, And it's so entirely different than how they transcribed it into the thing.
Yeah.
So you have to be very mindful.
I love it. And it was during this time where, correct me if I'm wrong, but you had an intimate conversation with Woody Harrelson and thus becoming an environmentalist and so forth.
Yeah, Woody was very helpful with, I was feeling isolated because like I said, I was going around kind of, do you know what's happening in the world? And when I had seen Woody at quite a few things, so I thought I should probably talk to him. They seem really cool because his family would always be sort of sitting we were at this PETA gala, 25th anniversary of PETA, and Paul McCartney was playing. I got an award from Paul McCartney. It was so wonderful. It was just a really special night. The Pretenders were playing, and
Love
Woody
that.
family were in the green room sitting on the floor. And I thought, well, those are my people. They're sitting on the floor. So I ended up calling him later to say, I'm struggling. I feel so isolated and alone in this. And I'm so upset about the cows. And here's what's happening. And he said, do you want to come to the Amazon River and help me try and save it? I said, yeah.
Sign me up.
I met him for the first time ever in the Lima airport in Peru. And we had an adventure together that was incredible. And he taught me a lot about the earth and what was happening that I didn't understand before that.
He looks like he has a lot of wisdom and also a lot of fun.
Oh, so much of both.
Yeah. That's awesome. At some point during this journey, you took a break from acting. You kind of lost that lust for it, right? Mm-hmm. Why?
Well, I was so concerned about the earth and animals and activism. I just got really focused on that. And I guess I also wasn't so interested in how the celebrity or, being all that was a lot for my little being, I think. And so I was dealing with personal stuff in my life. And my focus was on healing and being the best human I could be and surviving and trying to grow roots and be strong and save this earth of ours and try the best I could to help the animals and people. And my focus was just on that.
Priorities changed. Yeah.
Yeah. And I stopped. I really thought it never occurred to me that by stopping that it would go away. I never thought that through. No one said to me, hey, if you stop, it's going to go away. So I didn't know. And I was young. So I just didn't think about it, but it did. It's when you stop, it goes away. So I came back and had to start all over again. And, but that's been kind of incredible too, because it's much calmer and when I want a job, I also want my life equally. So I'm really filled up with all these things that I love. If my life was just acting, I might feel very differently and it might create I envy the people who only act because they have so much time, but I also don't envy them because there is a real, desire and stress around not working, right? I don't have that. When I'm not working, I'm working on everything, but I'm just working on different things. And I'm so, actually acting is more relaxing for me than my regular work life because
Really?
because I have a big business that I would love to talk to you about my MyKind Organics. And I have my activism, which is a big part of my life. And I'm a mom and I'm a very present, present mom. I take a lot of pride in that. So there's all these things that I'm spending my time and energy on. And then, so when I go to act, all that goes away and it's sort of just laser focused on being the best mom I can be and getting my job done. So it kind of feels really amazing. It's different. It's less stressful.
I love all this and it makes so much sense. And I just want to say thank you. I know the audience is going to appreciate this so much for letting your guard down and being so vulnerable. And I want to hop right into the business stuff, but I just want to ask you one thing before we hop into that. I read somewhere that you didn't have the best experience when you were filming the Batman movie, Batman and Robin. And ironically, I'm a diehard Batman fan. I loved it. Seeing you in there, because I was such a fan of yours, was really cool. And obviously, I love Arnold Schwarzenegger from back in the day. But that's true that you didn't have the best experience in that movie?
Well, I don't know. I don't want to get into all that stuff because that's sort of like if you and I were having tea somewhere, I might be able to talk to you about more candidly. I don't want to create more nonsense in the world. There's so much of that. But it just, it was fine. It just, I was being criticized for my body at the time. And that was hard. I was an 18-year-old girl. I think I was 18, maybe turning 19.
Oh, you were still that young when that movie came out? Wow.
When I shot it.
Wow.
and I was making it. And what else was happening? Yeah, it wasn't like, that wasn't my favorite job. Of all the jobs I've done, that was, I mean, I am so turned on by my theater
Yeah.
experiences. I am turned on by, I got to do Broadway with David Mamet. I mean, I've done David Mamet plays. I've done a play with Laura Linney, and I got to do a movie with Yorgos Lanthimos. I've just worked on I just finished a film that will come out very soon that is so juicy with this filmmaker, Levon Kitt.
Love juicy.
Yeah, so there's so many really artistic, juicy, inspiring things that doesn't fall into that category.
Understood. And you mentioned theater. Correct me if I'm wrong, but theater actually helped reignite that spark in you to come back to acting. Is that accurate?
100%, yes.
I love that. So tell us about this business.
So it's not a bit, the business part is not, I said that because that's part of your admin of life, of trying to take care of the things that you are responsible for. But this was just a passion project for me. I was pregnant with my son, and my midwife told me I needed to take a prenatal. And I didn't think I needed to take a prenatal because I eat really healthy. And she convinced me that sometimes perhaps you're traveling or you can't really get your hands on what you want all the time, or maybe you're being really naughty. Whatever the case is, perhaps there's days where you could use it as an insurance policy. And I thought that I believe that. So I went looking for a prenatal to take, and there was no prenatal on the market that was clean. They all had chemicals in them. They were not organic. They were all GMO. Some of them, the best quality ones, had some food-based ingredients, but then the rest was wrapped in chemicals. So I just thought, oh goodness, here we are again. Just like with when I discovered what meat and dairy was and how sad it was, and that I hadn't been told, kind of thing. Again, my innocence was being burst here, but less dramatic. But when people go to buy vitamins, they genuinely think they're buying something that's good for them. That's why they're taking it. Their doctor told them to take it. Someone's told them to take it. They're taking it to better themselves. But what they're putting into their body is not very good. And this is why you will hear things like that vitamins are toxic to your liver, because all those chemicals would be really toxic to your liver. But so when I realized there was nothing out there that I would take, because nothing was better than what I was eating. What I was eating was far superior to what these things were in these little bottles. I thought, I've got to make it. So I went looking for a partner, and I partnered with Garden of Life, and we decided to create MyKind Organics, coming off of the Kind Diet book, the Kind Mama book.
Where'd you guys come up with the name, Alicia?
That's what I'm saying, because I'd already written the Kind Diet.
Okay.
And I was working on the Kind Mama at the time, and my website is the Kind Life. So we decided together, MyKind Organics. I can't remember how we came up with that collection of words, but I know that we were trying to use what was already my brand, which was Kind. And so we did that, and it's been incredible, because we are the only certified organic, non-GMO verified, all food-based, no fillers, no binders, no chemicals. It's just pure nourishment in each of our products. And we started with the prenatal and all these multivitamins and B12s. The sprays are so delicious. The B12 spray, the vitamin C spray, and the D chewables. And then we started moving into gummies. So first we had
gummies, yes.
Yeah. But first we had to create this clean tablet technology, a way to create, and that took a long time. So from the beginning of thinking of it all, and then trying to get this product to work in an all natural way, took a long time. Then we went to gummies, and all the gummies on the market, the most successful gummies on the market, are loaded with sugar and loaded with gelatin, and they're just chemicals. So I thought that was gross. We wanted to create delicious, yummy gummies that were, all the things that we are: certified organic, non-GMO verified, all food-based, but also no sugar. So and no gelatin. So ours are made with apple pectin, organic apple pectin, and organic peaches to sweeten them. And they're delicious. And then we came out with a whole herbal line. And what made us so different in the herbals was that, all the adaptogens, and herbals such as turmeric and ashwagandha and things like that, they're extracting the turmeric using hexane, which is gasoline, and they're using GMO corn oil. And those things are gross. I don't want my vitamins touching that stuff. So we had to come up with, how do we extract it in this different way that no one's doing it to make it clean? And we figured out how to do that. And that took a while. So we have all
And
these.
also, Alicia, the gummies boost energy, right?
Well, it depends on which gummy you're talking about. All of the gummies are different. So where I'm getting to is the apple cider vinegar gummies, I think is what you're talking about. And
Yes.
we have an energy one, but
Yeah.
we so many, this whole collection is, we've got, in terms of gummies, we've got, you could take your men's multi in a gummy every day. And yes, it'll boost your energy and it'll give you all the nourishment you need. And it's delicious. So it's an easy way to, I hate taking pills. I got to be honest. I still take my B complex in my pill, and I take my, if I don't get a great night's sleep, like if I have to get up really early and my mind's a little bit working, I'll take my sleep well that I made, this really natural healing sleep remedy. And it's a pill. I don't really like taking pills. I'd rather spray or chew on deliciousness any day.
Deliciousness.
So we have those, and our elderberry gummies are so good. The turmeric gummies are so good.
Turmeric's good. Yeah.
You could just be taking all gummies all day long and have fun. But the newest product we came out with is because everyone has been obsessed with apple cider vinegar. It's all the rage. Sorry.
Does that surprise you?
Well, I think it's been going since Hippocrates, since the beginning of time. Really, they've been using apple cider vinegar. So it doesn't quite surprise me. And I've been hearing about apple cider vinegar my entire health journey. Whether you find it really important to take or not, there are a lot of people taking apple cider vinegar, and people put it in their water with just splashes of apple cider vinegar. But some people think it's disgusting and they don't want to take it like that. So out came these gummies, not by us, but other people were making these gummies, but they were, again, loaded with sugar, not organic, gelatin. They're just gross. The ingredients are not what they say they are. And so we thought, wow, people really want gummies in apple cider vinegar. So why not make them in the purest, healthiest way possible? So they're certified organic, they're non-GMO verified, they're all food-based, there's no fillers, no binders. And we have 4 different kinds. You can have the original, then there's one that's for energy, like you said. So if you just want an energy boost, there's one for probiotics, and there's one for diet. So you can kind of pick whichever thing works for you.
That's great. There's something for everybody. Where's the best place to get these? On your website? Do they sell them other places?
You can get them anywhere. Really, any health food store. Whole Foods has accepted our gummy as their only apple cider vinegar gummy. So
congratulations. That's fantastic.
Thank you.
Hell yeah.
So you can get them at Whole Foods. You can get them at any health food store. You can get them online. They're very easy to get your hands on.
Yeah, I love it all. And thank you so much for sharing this. I know the audience, obviously, they're going to fall in love with you in 2 seconds. They're definitely going to try it, and we'll leave a link as to where they can get them. And then with all this great stuff going on, now you're back on a hit show on Netflix, The Babysitters Club, right?
Yeah, I've had a busy year and a half. I've been doing, I just finished 2 films that I'm really excited about. And then I also just finished shooting Babysitters Club 2.
Season 2?
Season 2.
Yeah, you hear that, audience? When's it coming out?
I don't know. It's a good question. We just finished it not too long ago, so I don't know the answer to that. But and I'm going to go shoot something next week, and I've been busy.
I saw you also doing something with Rebel Wilson. Is that accurate?
Yeah, that's what that is. Yeah.
Is it a secret or no?
No, I don't know. I don't know what's a secret or not a secret, but it's her film, and I'm just doing a cameo in it.
Oh, okay.
A fun little cameo, but I like her. I think she's great.
She's funny.
She's really funny.
Yeah, I love it.
Talented actress. And so, I'm sure it'll be really fun. And the director, I worked with him on a show that I did a few years ago that I loved so much, called American Woman.
Yeah. I love it all. And of course, I don't know you that well yet. Hopefully that'll change. But I just want to say, like, being a fan of yours for so long, like, it's very obvious. Like, you look like, and what a journey now that we've been talking about. Like, you can only connect the dots looking backwards, but like with everything that you got going on with the health food and the products and so forth, and now the Netflix and these 2 movies that you're very excited about, it looks like you're in a really good place right now. And it's very obvious as you speak about it. You seem very passionate about it. So it's great to see.
Thank you.
Yeah. My pleasure. And I just wanted to ask you, because people always ask me, because I'm the mindset stuff and stuff like that, like, who are some of my sources of inspiration? And I don't always give the sexiest answer, because I get sources of inspiration from all walks of life, whether it be movies, books, a character, song, anything. I have to ask you, like, who are some people over the years that really inspired you? Some people that you might have sharpened the axe for, that got you excited?
That's a really good question. I think if I go back to the very beginning, it's my mom, because when I was a little girl, she was like, she wasn't an environmentalist, but she'd lived through the war. So she would say, remember the war, remember the war. She, she would never want to waste anything. We didn't waste food. You didn't waste. And so naturally she was an eco warrior. And we would, as we grew and I became a real environmentalist, we would teach each other things. And one of my favorite things my mom used to do was I would give her all the stuff that I didn't want to use, products, because people send me a lot of stuff to test. And she couldn't believe it. Why you don't want this? And I would say, no, mommy, because there's so much. So here, you can have this. And I'd give her these boxes. And every time I'd come to visit her, she'd show me it was like as if she licked them out. They were clean, straight. She could figure out how to get the last drop out of anything. So she would show me, and it was this moment where we would take, and she'd show me all of her stuff, and then we'd throw it away together, and it was wonderful. Anyway, so the environmental stuff, her love of animals, we would stop on the road if an animal needed help and run after it on the freeway. Not a good idea, by the way, but that's what we do. And and so that stuff, and then a lot of inspiration from her also with how I didn't want to live and how to fight for what I needed in this life. And that's all I wrote about this in the kind on my website recently. I did a mommy's post about it. But then I was inspired also as an actress by Laura Dern.
Ooh,
And
she's
because
great.
I saw her in Smooth Talk when I was little, and I did a scene from Smooth Talk, and she inspired me quite a bit. And then she inspired me when I met her because she used to be with Jeff Goldblum, and he was my dad in this movie Hideaway. And I spent time with her on that. And she was very, her and Christine Lottie were really kind of supporting my womanness, if that makes any sense. There was
I
just a
understand.
sense of them caring for me a bit. And then who else? Well, definitely Woody Harrelson with the environmental things. There's
Woody.
so many activists out there that, just even Lisa Lange and, all the people at PETA who fight so hard. And now through my journey with Mercy for Animals, I mean, anytime I meet anyone I remember even a girlfriend of mine that I was thinking about yesterday, she taught me not to be wasteful with plastic. So I remember I had a plastic bag and I was going to throw it in the garbage. And she said, you could rinse that out and reuse it. And she got me this really cool wood thing that I have in my kitchen that it's a dryer for bags. So you put it in and it has arms, and then each little plastic bag can go on the outside. So I don't have to I can reuse them. Obviously I try to never have them in the first place, but sometimes they find you and then you can just reuse them. So she's an eco warrior, Renee Liu, and just all the people that I meet who've taught me little tricks along the way. There's so many. I mean, anyone who's uncovering truth, there's a really great podcast called The Defender, and it's about children's health safety. They inspire me because they're all putting their necks on the line, telling the truth. And they are constantly told that they're not telling the truth, but I can tell you they are telling the truth. There's no exaggeration. It's just the facts, but a lot of people don't want you to know the information. So there's incredible warriors out there doing, that inspire me every single day. Really, who also inspires is me, one of my doctor friends who, she has the courage to. So many doctors are so sort of closed off and arrogant to want to learn anything new. And when someone tells them something like, this changed my life, I did this and this changed my life, they go, yeah, right. It's the only thing they want to have change your life is the pills or cutting you open. And when somebody comes from that world, right, and then they are open. She was open. I had her read this paper and she came back and went, oh my God. And she totally opened her mind, and she's gone on this journey and she's researching, and she just says, I didn't know all this. And that inspires me. It inspires me so much that she was open to learning, and she's been a surgeon for 35 years.
Yeah. You got to put your ego aside and always be able to learn. I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. One
Here's
last question I have to ask you, and then one from the audience will wrap it up. You have so much going on, so much on your plate in such a great way, especially like the last year and a half, like you said. How do you personally, or what could you suggest to the audience to avoid a burnout?
Wow, that is a big, there's many burnouts that can happen almost every day, and you have to recharge and refocus and reprioritize, right? And the most important aspect to all of that is sleep. And how do you get the best sleep? Is by not eating all the crud we eat. So I would recommend reading the Kind diet so you can understand the foods that are going to nourish you and heal you, so that when you're sleeping, your body's just doing all this beautiful work, so that when you wake up, you feel great, as opposed to working so hard all night long trying to deal with this and trying to deal with that. And then when they wake up, they're like, "Oh, I've been working all night. I'm so tired." So I would say sleep, eating well, and then we have these beautiful supplements to support you. The MyKind Organics herbal sleep spray, the adrenals, to not get your adrenals tapped out and burnt out. Very important. Ashwagandha, to make you not feel stressed and to not feel moody and upset about everything, right? But eating in balance, I say the number one thing is your nourishment. The way you feed your body will feed your brain and your heart and your spirit, every single choice you make. And so if you mess up, who cares? Just get right back on. But when we eat well, it makes you feel well. And then that just exudes out of you, and you're just giving that love to everyone and sharing it. So I think that is the most critical thing for a productive life, because we all are busy and stressed. And, it's just so much worse when you add the junk in.
Get out in front of the situation instead of playing defense, play offense. I absolutely understand and I love it. You mentioned the book. Is it available on Audible?
Well, not with my voice, but we should. I don't know why.
You should have your voice on there.
I don't know if somebody else does it. I don't know. It's a really good question. I know it's, I wrote it a long time ago, and it was, thank God Oprah had me on and she loved it. So it was she has the magic touch. So
She does.
far, but I don't know if it's
I'm going to find out immediately after this.
Okay.
And one final question from the audience, because they're obsessed with you and they love you. And I took one from the 250,000 downloads. They're so happy to see you back on the hit Netflix show. They say you haven't aged since Clueless. What's your secret? Do you work out? And if so, what is your fitness routine?
My secret is food. It's 100% food. And any fitness trainer will tell you that 80% of it is diet.
Nutrition.
So eating clean, plant-based food is the answer to all of it, to everything good.
But do you work out also or no?
I do. I try to, but I'm not as good at that as I am at eating well. So I'm saying, like, that's my insurance. I do exercise though, but I like to go on walks with the dogs. I try to do it every day. Sometimes today I won't get to, I have too busy a day. I like to do yoga, but do I do it regularly? Not enough. I like to do Pilates. I barely ever do it. I like dancing, and I like going to dance class. So I haven't been able to do that in a while, but I'm going to do one Saturday. And I sometimes work out, like in a gym with weights, but that's not as, like sometimes.
Understood.
We need it as we get older. Now I can also feel I need it for strength, and what you used to be able to do 20 years ago, or even just 10 years, or even just 5 years ago, a couple sessions and I would see it on my body. And now a couple sessions and I see nothing. It's just, you're just holding on. You're just trying to not fall apart physically from the body, if that makes sense. But the food is always at the core. That's the answer to everything.
And also sometimes a good workout is good for the mind as it is the body.
So good. Nothing's better than that. It's so important.
Yes.
I wasn't willing to get up. Sometimes I'm not willing to make the choice to get up 2 hours earlier from my day. And then I just say, I'll do it tomorrow. So tomorrow I'm going to work out.
Alicia, I'm going to hold you accountable.
It's going to happen for sure.
Tomorrow, you promise.
It's happening. You have to promise.
Alicia 2.0. I love it. Where can besides the obvious, where can they support you? Where can they follow you? Where can they reach you? Where do you hang out the most?
You can go to Instagram, is really a good place, and my website, but you'll find out about my website and stuff on Instagram. So yeah, I think it's Alicia Silverstone with the check mark next to it.
Cool. And season 2, we're not sure when it's coming yet for the Babysitters Club.
No. Yeah, but there'll be lots coming. So we can and you'll find all of what's coming on Instagram and on Twitter and on Facebook, all the social places.
You hear that, audience? Go follow her. If you don't already, say hello. She's very friendly. She doesn't bite, right?
Exactly.
Awesome. Alicia, this was so much fun. I just want to say you don't shy away from your challenges as they've shaped you. It's something I find very relatable and liberating. You are the definition of resilience, grit, and heart, from your early unbelievable success in Hollywood to becoming a dynamic activist and health advocate. You're an unbelievable mother to your amazing son, Bear. You empower others by being a beacon of light to live a healthy and sustainable life. I could personally guarantee your best is yet to come. You're someone I admire, I appreciate, and I respect very much. And this will absolutely not be the last time that we collaborate.
Oh, thank you. So
Thank,
nice.
thank you so much for your time today. This was awesome.
Thank you very, very much.
And have an unbelievable workout tomorrow.
I will. Thank you.
Thank you,
Bye.
Alicia.
Bye.
Bye-bye.